talk a little bit about alternatives that we have for the internet. I've seen for a long time that my channel has probably been shadow banned. When you run afoul of the left wing fascists, and they're fascists, they're not communists, they're fascists. First off, I'm going to go on a little bit of an explanation why I say that. There's a book, a historical piece of reference called The Arms of Krupp, K-R-U-P, Krupp. The Krupp family in Germany was a manufacturing family. I believe they created they created steel. Hey Dave, how you doing? They were steel manufacturers, I believe. They weren't arms manufacturers, and they were very wealthy. Okay, they were extremely wealthy, and when the Nazi Party was growing, when it was in its infant stages, despite him being a member of, low class dirtbag group, I'm talking about Hitler. He had the wherewithal to it wasn't talk to and ingratiate himself with the wealthy people within society. Okay, like Hermann Goering, for instance. Y'all know who the Fat Man was. He was a World War I hero. He was an ace. He won the Pour le Mérite, or received it, for actions. He shot down 16 Allied aircraft, and then basically flew a desk for the rest of the war. He became the last commander of Baron von Richthofen's, aka the Red Barons, his fighter wing. Okay, Jagdgeschwader #1. And he came in after Richthofen's handpicked successor, Willy Reinhard, was shot down. Hey, Carl. Anyway, Hitler cultivated Goering. Goering became a Nazi. Hitler cultivated Willy Messerschmitt. Messerschmitt, the factory, the aircraft. He cultivated the Krupps. He cultivated all these wealthy people. When the Nazis came to power, the people that gave him money, hey Dan, how you doing? The people that gave him money, influence, these things, were given things like good contracts. They were able to build airplanes, weapon systems, things like that. It was what I look at when I want to think about how Hitler built up the Nazi war machine. He was corporatist. Fascism is not what you think it is. It's corporatism. It's corporate capitalism. Only the very wealthy make a lot of money. The middle class either stays the middle class or gets stomped on and crushed. And free speech is crushed. We know that for a fact that when Hitler took over, there was the Night of the Long Knives in 1934, where the leaders of the brown shirts, and Hitler did need the military. Now, in Germany at the time, the generals and those people were very highly revered. And if Hitler didn't get those generals, he would have been, the Nazis never would have lasted. And they didn't like the brown shirts, especially Ernst Röhm. Ernst Röhm was wild. He was obnoxious. He was trying to make the brown shirts, the Sturmabteilung, the new military for Germany. And he was out, very flagrant, very flamboyant, homosexual. Okay, so Night of Long Nights happen. Night of Long Knives happens. Rome is taken. They find him in a seedy hotel in Bavaria with a little boy, and in his bed. It was just, some of this, ugh. But a lot of political enemies were also killed that weren't Nazis. And but it basically made it safe then at the time for the people that gave Hitler money, gave him, let him, were influenced by him because, hey, they're making arms, they're making airplanes, they're making cars. He's letting them, he's giving them regulations that enable these big companies to get bigger, to make more money. That's what a corporation does. They make more money. Okay. So, what happens is that they are every bit as part of the government as the Nazi Party itself. Okay? They go along with the silencing of dissent, with the murders, with the assassinations, with the imprisoning. Concentration camp Dachau was opened around that time, silencing and imprisoning silencing and imprisoning of political enemies. They went along with this. Now, what's going on here is Parler, yesterday before they shut the app down, they took the app off the out of the shops from Google and Apple. It was number one on Apple. They were getting 1 million downloads a day. And here's the thing, and the government sits back and lets it happen. They left Section 230 protections intact, you know, and what happened is Mark Zuckerberg, sorry to say that, and Jack, I am a Nazi Dorsey, and that little goon, shrimpy little goon who runs Google, realized Parler was getting too big and beginning to be competition and taking away from their profits. Here's something to remember. If you watch Sticks and Hammer, and I know Dan posts sticks everywhere. Sticks and Hammer 666. I wish I knew his real name. He explains it like this. It is not that a billionaire has billions of dollars in cash. It is that he has billions of dollars in assets. So when their biggest asset, Twitter, Facebook, starts losing subscribers, they start losing money. Okay, so if you noticed this week, Elon Musk, who's as far as I'm concerned, a true capitalist in any way, every way, shape, and form. I adore him. He was totally trolling Zuckerberg on Twitter the other day. It was hilarious. I was just going. He supplanted and replaced Jeff, I'm a fascist, Bezos as the richest man in the world. Okay. Now imagine if he decides, I'm going to do my own social media company. All right, so Dakare's in here, and but if you stop using Amazon, I shut down my app. I got rid of Amazon Prime. I let them have it. Basically told the guy who was talking to me, "You're working for a dictator." You know, I want them to know. Okay, I want them to know. I want the people that work for that shithole to know. And besides, Amazon's a shitty company anyway. In fact, this area, they have a distribution center, and my husband was actually thinking that he might want to do the program. There's a managers to run the distribution center, and he could do that with his eyes closed. The hours were appalling. What they do, hey Dakari, what they do to the employees. You can't keep a distribution manager. You can't keep employees because they're absolutely shitty to them. So he's got that. He's got that. It's just Amazon is a slave-run enterprise. You know, and we all know that Zuckerberg is a power-hungry little sociopath. In fact, I think he might be a level like, I don't believe in the Rothschilds thing. Just, dear, if you were here before, I explained to you how Hitler came to power. You might want to look at his words on the Rothschilds. That's a Jewish family. Stop it. Okay, I don't want to hear about it. And don't come in here and rationalize. I don't give a shit. Anyway, you'll be booted. I'll have Pensac boot you. We don't do anti-Semitism here, but I take people on a case by case basis. And Fuckerberg is a little Nazi. Okay. Then we have Jack Dorsey, who's basically a sleazy hermit who looks like he smells. Boots the president off of Twitter. The president's been booted off of Shopify. The shops are all shut down. La de da. I mean, you can't, their excuse was he incited the riot. No, he didn't. If you go and watch the speech he gave, he told them to march peacefully to Capitol Hill. We know for a fact that most of the people that were rioting that got into the Capitol building were Antifa. Oh yeah, well, I don't, you know what, Dave, get rid of him. Get rid of him now. Thanks. Anyway, I told him to shut his mouth and he won't shut up, so he needs to go. Okay. Anyway, I feel like I'm being trolled. If I tell you, hey, let me finish what I'm thinking about. You're gone. I'm banning you. So anyway, but they're using what the Antifa infiltrators did to excuse their attacks on free speech and persecute the president. Okay. And I decided that I needed an alternative, so I'm going to start building the Smuggler's Cantina on BitChute. I'm going to start putting more out there. I'm looking at Daily Motion. I'm looking at Minds, Minds, MINDS. I'm looking at other alternatives. If you go to Sticks and Hammer, 666, his channel, he talks a lot about alternatives. I just started using Proton Mail. I'm going to start using Proton Mail for everything. The more alternative stuff we use, the harder it is for them to censor people. Now what's going on with Parler? Parler is going to build their own server so they don't have to use Amazon. It is going to probably be by mobile web for a while, but it is not going away. And again, the reason why they did this is because they're worried about competition. It has less to do with well, Tom Mates basically said Apple told him they wanted him to be able to allow third parties to monitor what was being said on Apple or on Parler. He told them no. They freaked out and then said, okay, you're gone. Okay, we can, all right, that's fine. So it's going to be a long, hard slog. Okay, but I'm telling every one of you, if you aren't thinking seriously about jettisoning Facebook, Twitter, Google itself, you're gonna end up being banned anyway. Okay, I look for this channel to go away. I mean, Sticks and Hammer basically said he looks for his own, and his channel's huge. They will end up probably dumping Geeks and Gamers, Ethan Van Sciver, probably not Midnight's Edge, but Clownfish TV, and a lot of them. And the reason why is because they don't want that alternative viewpoint. And the bottom line is they've got a big audience or something like that in China. Now, let's talk about China. China is the worst human rights abuser in the world. If you know anything about what they're doing to the Muslim minority in Western, I think it's Northwest China, it's grotesque. They have, I mean, Mulan, the live action, was filmed right down the road from one of the concentration camps, where Chinese men are allowed to rape Uyghur women, where Uyghurs are have their organs harvested, where they are ground into dust. It's basically, like Buchenwald east, okay, far east. And, when you go to Twitter and you see the national news service for China blaring out their goddamn propaganda, and every liberal going, that's really good, I believe them, good. You've got the Ayatollah Khomeini, Khameni. He's now got himself a new Twitter account for Italy, and he spews, the disgusting, filthy, repulsive, anti-Semitic puke at Israel from there and on Twitter. And Dorsey's like, no, TikTok is Chinese, Carl. TikTok is Chinese. And there is a Parlor, Parlor, social media network on Apple. But that's probably Chinese too. So don't go there. If you use TikTok, Chairman Z is probably beating off to your video. Okay, I'm telling you right now. But these guys, want that market. They want that market. And, and that's the thing. And, it's if there wasn't money to be made in China at all, if that economy was, I've heard people say their economy's growing, and it's like, no, it's not. When you see mass arrests of people going on in Hong Kong and other places in China, you know perfectly well that they're not doing as well as everybody thinks they are. Anything that comes out of the state-run media's mouth is a fucking lie, okay? You'd have to be a dipshit to think it's true, okay? That's like my Uncle Joe sitting in a foxhole in Bastogne, waiting for the Third Army and listening to Berlin Betty tell him to give up tell the boys to give up their guns and surrender. That's like Baghdad Bob, while, Marines are marching through Baghdad talking about how they're being thrown back. Okay, gotta put propaganda in it and in its perspective, okay? It only works when the country's not failing. And people who have to use propaganda to prop up what they're doing are failing, okay? When I look at what the left is doing, they're failing. They're scared shitless. This is why they're going after Trump. This is why they're going after Parler. This is why they're going after us, is what happened on the 6th, regardless of who entered the Capitol building. First off, I don't care who they were. That's our house, not theirs. The people that were in there screwing us over like they do every goddamn day, they're hired to go there and work for us. And they don't do that ever. Pelosi's made hundreds of millions of dollars. If you've ever seen the average salary of a House Speaker, you're gonna, go, well, how the fuck did she do? By grift, by taking contracts that her office managed to throw into pork and guiding it to her husband's companies, and companies her family is part of. Okay, look at Hunter Biden. All right, the bag man. She's the bag man for the Pelosi conglomerate. Okay, this is how corrupt DC is. This is why they hate Trump. He doesn't need their money. He doesn't need them. He lifted the veil and everybody with a brain went, you know, and what they've done and what they're doing is they're protecting themselves. Okay. Biden, he probably won't last a month. Either he'll resign or they'll kick him out due to the 25th Amendment. And then we'll have the grinning whore, Harris, bouncing around like a big dumb dog, basically being on Z's choke chain. I'm sure she's never blown anybody with a microscopic dick, but, here we go with Chairman Z. And I'm sure this feed will get booted. But anyway, but we need alternatives, okay? We need to have a way to keep in touch, to get the message out, to talk about what we want to talk about. Do you think I like talking about this shit? No. But as I think it was Pericles, you might not be interested in politics, but politics is interested in you. Okay? That is a big deal. The people who aren't interested, who want to do, cooking videos and stuff, eventually they'll come for you too. Okay? You might do you might have an Italian cooking channel, but when you've got big corporations and you're not kissing their ass, you might get jettisoned. Okay? All right? They don't want to have any competition. All right? That is what corporate fascism is all about. And so I kind of want to put this out there that I think it's time for everybody. Oh, I know, and that's all I want to talk about. But again, this wasn't our choice. But again, what do? We have to fight back. And my husband even talked about leaving the country and moving to Central Europe like Hungary or Poland. And I'm like, not just no, but hell no. My family came here in the 1600s. They fought in the American Revolution. Right up the road in Gettysburg. I had two great uncles. Yeah, Lico, you're right. Who fought at Gettysburg for an Indiana regiment. They were abolitionists. They were Union soldiers. And my father, World War II veteran of the 8th Air Force, a radio operator in B-24s, high-speed radio operator. My uncles, landed at Normandy, were at Guadalcanal. And I'm not about to leave, okay? There are plenty of ways we can fight back. But just remember what I said about billionaires. They're only as rich as their assets are. And when they see their portfolios, like look at what happened to Jeff Bezos. He got supplanted by an actual capitalist, Elon Musk, who, if you don't like him, I don't understand why. The guy's innovative as hell. He goes after the censors and the fascists and the bullies and the people who get in his way from making money and who hurt his employees. He sticks up for everybody. Now, this guy grew up in South Africa. All right, so he understands what fascism and dictatorships are all about, because South Africa right now is being run by a bunch of racists. Hate to tell you, truth. So I am ready for changes. I am ready to try something else. I will give out my Proton email. I have one. I'm looking on trying to get another one done, so I can attach it to the channel. I'm gonna start kind of doing my own thing. Maybe do Blogspot for my fiction writing and just do stuff on my own. My Star Wars fan fiction and just we gotta get self-sufficient. All right. Eventually this will go away. Eventually the shit will hit the fan. I know Tom Mates is talking about suing big tech, and he should. I know the president is going to do something. I think that he's probably going to open up his own news and internet thing. But what you need, and I read somewhere that Gab is coming up with a proprietary phone and software. Watch Google and Apple try to squash that. I'm talking to you on an iPhone right now, and I think me and my husband are going to switch. I don't know to what. But, and I gotta tell you guys something. Get a VPN. Get a VPN. All right? Protect yourself everywhere you can. Okay? And I'm not going to say watch what you say. All right? I'm not. We're Americans. We have every right to tell, Zuckerberg or Dorsey or whatever that thing is that runs Google, Bill Spider, that loser who runs Apple, to fuck themselves. Okay? We don't have to take it. We don't have to do anything. We are free. And I don't want to secede, okay? Don't bring that up. And I mean that. I really, really mean that. Don't, okay? So I gotta go because the phone, of course, this is an Apple phone, so the battery's dying and it's only about 1:30 in the afternoon. Wow, what a machine. What a great tool. So, but I'm telling you guys, it's time, and I'm not gonna, but I will tell you this. I'm not going to leave here till they boot me. All right? They've already shadow banned me. I was up to 2,000 subscribers, and I went down to 670, and I can't get 1,650, and I can't get back up. I can't, no matter what I do, no matter what other channel I go on to talk, I can't get more subs. I mean, but if they shadow ban people like Sticks and Hammer 666 and Geeks and Gamers and others, they're going to shadow ban us. They're going to shadow ban the little people. So anyway, and they'll go after Drunk 3PO. Yeah. Why? Having Gina Carano on there is a bad thing or something. These people are sick. All right? And they have to be taught a lesson. I don't know when or how, but their karmic debt has to come due. Anyway, this is Steph. Signing out, guys. I'll see you around the galaxy.